Hello, this is from page 192. It's the second sheet of the review of the three different forms. We've talked about slope-intercept, we've talked about point slope, and we've also talked about standard form. In number 13, they're asking us to write an equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So in order to write this, we need two things. We need our intercept, which is when x is 0, and then we also need our slope. So from these 2 points, I'm going to determine the slope, and then after we get the slope, then we will substitute one of these points and solve for the y-intercept. So negative 7 minus 2, here's y2 minus y1, over x2 minus x1. And that will give me negative 9 over negative 3. Now, negative divided by negative gives us positive. So now I have y equals, I just figured out my slope, that would be 3x plus b. Now I'm going to choose one of these points, doesn't matter which one, and use that to solve for b. Now, when y is equal to 2, then x is 4. So that would be 3 times 4 plus b. And we get 2 equals 12 plus b. So then b will be equal to negative 10. So my final answer for 13 then is y is equal to 3x minus 10. Okay. Again, I had to do two things. Find the slope and then find the intercept. Now, in number 14, it says write the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that goes through these 2 points. Now, if you notice 2, 7, and 6, 7, the y values are the same. So if I just make a little sketch here, 2, 7, and 6, 7, 2, 7, and 6, 7, if I drew a line that would go through those two, I notice that it's a horizontal line. And that equation would be y equals 0x plus 2. Now, there's no need to write this as 0x. We can just write this as y equals 2. And this is a horizontal line. Okay? Now, for number 15, it says, what is the point-slope form of the line in this graph? Now, point-slope form is written as y minus y1, mx minus x1. So I need two pieces of information. I need a point, and I could use this one or that one, doesn't matter. And then I can find the slope by counting my rise over my run. Now my rise over my run is 3, and then if I choose this point, I can write y minus 2 is equal to 3x minus 4. And this is written in point-slope form. I don't have to do any more with that. However, in number 16, there's a follow-up question. It says write this in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. So I'm going to rewrite this equation so that it looks like this. So now I'll take y minus 2 equals 3x minus 12. And I want to get the x and y's all on the left side. And I can do that by subtracting 3x. And if I do that, I'll get negative 3x plus y. And then if I add 2 to both sides, then I will get negative 10. Now in standard form, we often want this coefficient to be positive. So I'm just going to multiply everything by a negative 1, and that would give me 3x minus y is equal to 10. And then that is now in standard form. Okay, number 17 is a little bit more involved because we have David here is ordering tea from an online store, and black tea costs 80 cents an ounce, and green tea costs $1.20 per ounce. But he can only spend $12 on the two types of tea. So every ounce of black tea counts as 80 cents an ounce, and green tea is $1.20 per ounce. So the equation then would be 80 cents for every ounce of black tea, and then green tea is $1.20 times Y, and he's going to spend a total of $12. Now, as we did before with these problems with standard form, the easiest way to graph these is to find the intercepts. So if x is 0, then y would be 10. Now that means that if he doesn't buy any ounces of black tea, then he could buy 10 ounces of green tea. If he does not buy any green tea, then this part of the equation is 0, and x would be 15. So now, when we graph this, it would look like this. This would be 0, 10, and over here, for the x-intercept, that would be at 15, 0. And we would get a line that looks like this. Okay, here's our line. Now, there's no reason to extend it because the most that he can buy of green tea is 15. I'm sorry, of the black tea is 15, and of the green tea would be 10. Then what is the x-intercept? The x-intercept is 15, and 15 is the amount. Okay, so if I move this up a little bit, the x-intercept we said was 15, and the y-intercept is 10. And that's what the x-intercept means, that 15 would be 15 ounces of black tea. He wouldn't buy any green tea at all. Now, if he buys 10 ounces of black tea, 10 ounces of black tea, well, if you have 10 ounces of black tea, that would be 0.8 times 10, and then you have 1.2 times y is equal to 12. So this would give you 8 plus 1.2y is equal to 12, or 1.2y is equal to 4. Now, if we take 4 divided by 1.2, then that would be y equals 3.3 repeating. Now, 3.3 repeating would be 3 1/3 ounces. Okay, so 3.13 if he buys 10 ounces of black tea. Now in number 18, they're starting with an equation, and it looks like it's in standard form. But if you look closely in the section on standard form, this is really not quite in standard form because there's a common factor here of 3. So what I'm going to do is divide everything by 3, and that will give me 2x minus 5y is equal to negative 4. And then that is in standard form.